Hello students, this is Professor Faiz Raut from Jain College of Engineering, Department of MBA. As I have promised you guys that I'll be making videos of the 6 modules. So, and the first and the second module and the third module, which I have already taught, but I'll just go through in a video kind of a revision. So I'll begin with the first module, which is Introduction to Economics. So as far as the syllabus is concerned of the first module, it goes like managerial economics, meaning, nature, scope and significance, uses of managerial economics, roles and responsibilities of managerial economist, theory of the firm and industry, objectives of the firm, alternative objectives of the firm, managerial theories. So you have 3 managerial theories: Baumol's model, which is Baumol's hypothesis of sales revenue maximization. Second is Maris hypothesis, which is the manager's growth actually of the firm, growth and capital supply to the firm and balanced growth. And then the Williamson's model. Okay, Williamson's model is about the manager's utility function. Okay, so to begin with, as far as introduction is concerned, managerial economics is introduced as a separate branch of economics. The reason is because of the complexity which is getting emerged, the growing complexity of the business environment. Many things are getting influenced. Every day the businesses are changing. New technology is bringing in new kind of businesses, and the environment is also changing. The decision making process is changing. So many theories and many processes, many things are coming into it. And so that's the reason the manager of an organization needs to understand this and needs to go through these aspects and these theories in order to take a good business decision in its course of business. Okay, in his course of job. Okay, so that's the reason managerial economics is being developed. So as far as what is economics is concerned, economics is the very oldest concept, very old subject, okay, you can say. In 1976, when Adam Smith, the father of economics, why he's called is because he introduced the book, he introduced the concept, he introduced this terminology where the modern economics is all about. And Alfred Marshall defined economics as the study of the man in ordinary business of life. It inquires how he gets his income and how he uses it. So on the one side, it is the study of the wealth of the man, and on the other side, a part of the study of the man. Okay, and why do people economize? Because human wants, desires, aspirations are endless, which it should not be, but it is, and the resources available to the people are scarce, which is a fact. So endless desires and limited resources make economics very important to study. And people by nature economizers. Okay, if there is one product which is same in quality, in quantity, in taste, in everything, and we are getting it at a lower rate at a certain location only because of the difference in the ambience somewhat, and we are getting that same product at some another location with a higher rate, higher price. So by nature people tend to buy the lower price product even if they need to travel to some place. Okay, so just for example, some kirana shop, and if you compare it with D-Mart, and if you are buying in bulk, you definitely will go to D-Mart rather than kirana store. Okay, so that is a different discussion altogether, but by nature people are economizers. And the two basic branches of economics, as it is a social science, is about microeconomics and microeconomics. Okay, so microeconomics is the study of economizing behavior of an individual. Okay, economic entities like individuals, households, firms, industries, factory owners. So macroeconomics will pertain to mainly to the internal management, internal organization, internal problem solving of factories, of households, of individuals, etc. So this will go like whatever the factory is facing, whatever the company is facing inside its work environment, what difficulties they are facing, what kind of problems they are facing, they are trying to solve it, they are trying to economize it, and that will be considered in microeconomics. Whereas macroeconomics is the study of working in performance of the economy as a whole. The economy can be considered as a country, a province, a state, a district, okay, where many factors will be influenced. Those factors can be like the employment rate in that area, okay, in that country, the gross development product, the gross national product of that country, the education level of the average education level of the country, the standard of living of the people of that country, the spending rate of spending, or the amount of spending, or the nature of the spending of that country, okay, and the fiscal and the monetary policies of the Reserve Bank of that country, okay, the foreign trade policy, how is the relationship of that country is with the with the different countries in order to foreign trade and to invite investments from the foreign countries, okay. For example, US and China relations, China and India's relations, India and Pakistan's relations, how these relations change. So depending upon that, the business decision will also change. So that will be defining the macroeconomics. If one company wants to come from China to US or come from China to India, then what are the difficulties? What are the macroeconomic factors that company needs to consider of the country which it is going into? Okay, so all those bigger things where the managerial economist needs to think about outside its firm, outside its company, that all comes into macroeconomics. Okay, so not boring you much about managerial economics. Managerial economics will be inclusion of some parts of microeconomics and some part of macroeconomics, because a person who is a manager, who is economizing his organization, related to the HR, related to the finance, related to the marketing, related to the operations, related to the supply chain, okay, he'll be related to administration also, he'll be taking care of everything by using some concepts of microeconomics and some concepts of macroeconomics, and his decision will depend upon all these things. So when he is applying the economics to his business decision, then he'll be going through these six stages rather. These 6 stages is a combination of microeconomics and macroeconomics. Okay, for example, if I'm explaining these 6 points using an example, if there is a manager who is in a company where that company is going to launch a new product into the market, okay, and he is trying to make a profit out of that and make more incentives out of that, then the first thing he will do is to determine and define the objective. Okay, what is the objective of me launching a new product into the market? Okay, what are my existing products? What different my new product is? So what is the objective? What I need to achieve by selling this product into the market? Okay, whether I want to increase the sales just, or whether I need to put some change the customer perspective of my company, okay, or so what it is. So so as a manager, I'll determine and define the objective of any decision which I'll be taking, and defining the business related issues. Okay, the second point. So what are the business related issues when I'm launching a new product? So is the product similar to my competitors? Is the product similar to my company? If I am a company which is there into hygiene, health, okay, and if I'm launching a product, maybe a hand wash or a hand sanitizer, then what it is? Okay, whether it is helping my business, or whether I'm totally into launching maybe into some food item or something, but I am into hygiene and healthcare and I'm launching a food item, then that would be a different case. So what business related issues will come when I'll be launching this kind of new product? Okay, then I'll go and collect and analyze the relevant data. I'll do a primary research, a secondary research. I'll send someone, okay, to collect the data. What is the response of the people? What is the awareness of the people? Okay, how people will perceive my product, whether they will buy it, whether they want some changes or what. Okay, and then inventing and developing possible course of action. So when I collected data, when I got to know what are the expectations of people, then I'll be developing a possible course of action and inventing and changing about the products and its approaches. And then the selection of the best alternatives. When I have already developed the many courses of action, how to do it, then I'll be designing many alternatives. I'll be giving it to my team. So to my team will be giving me many alternatives, what can be done with the project related to marketing or the pricing of the products, related to the customer expectation. I'm changing my product, so what is the best alternative, and then I'll be implementing the decision. Okay, I'll be implementing my product into the market. Then the seventh one is also there, okay, which is been recently introduced. It is kind of a feedback which I'll be getting. It is kind of a review. Okay, after I implement my decision, I launch my product into the market, what is the feedback of the customers, how they are, whether they are liking my product or whether they are not liking my product, whether they want some more changes to be done, whether they want some more features to be installed into that, whatever the product may be. Okay, so this is how a application of economics to business decision is done, and that is being taken care by the managerial economist. Okay, so moving forward, the scope includes everything: the internal managerial issues, okay, whatever the issues are arising inside the company, inside an organization, related to the HR, marketing and finance team inside. So those all will be the internal managerial issues. Okay, for example, in Adhya, whatever the issues which were arising when we were working before the event started on 13th and 14th, so till 12th, whatever issues we had, we were resolving it. So that was internal managerial issues. And then external environmental issues, when we were promoting our fest outside in other colleges, on somewhere in and around Belgaum, when we were promoting it, and when other participants came into our college, how they were facing issues, what were their concerns. So all those will come under external environmental issues. So the internal managerial issues will consist of the employees, stakeholders, which will consist of mostly employees, and the external environmental issues will consider about the customers, the suppliers, okay, whoever is getting affected because of our business. Okay, and this microeconomic theories applied to internal issues is the theory of consumer demand, production, cost, price determination, okay, and all those. And macroeconomics applied to business decision, okay, how GDP and how unemployment affects. Okay, and one such example I have given you is about the nano car, which had a plant in Nandigram in West Bengal, Singur district. And when the plant started, there was opposition from the farmers, and they could not they did not let the plant to run properly, and because of that, Tata was forced to shift his plant from Nandigram to various states. Okay, so especially they left basically West Bengal and went to Gujarat and Maharashtra and those states. But the thing is that the manager needs to take into consideration what are the external factors along with internal factors in order to run the business properly. Okay, so some of the macroeconomic factors is about the trend in the economy, how the economy is. What is the GDP rate? What is the GNP rate? How is the unemployment? What is the standard of living of the people? How is the climate? What is the investment opportunity? What are the how many consumers are there? For example, India is considered as the huge consumer economy. So many companies are attracted because there are many consumers who will be buying the products of those companies. So many companies want to invest in India, want to sell their products in India. Okay, and India is a totally different kind of economy. You cannot predict, you cannot divide the tier 1, tier 2 cities as you divide in the other countries. Okay, so there are rich and poor people in every tier city in India. So it is a huge challenge, but that is a trend in the economy, how a company analyzes. One of the macroeconomic factor, and other is international economic conditions, how the economic conditions internationally. For example, in 2008, when there was a global economic crisis, when there was a shortage of liquidity throughout the world, when the banking system was getting collapsed, during that time the entire world was getting affected because of that. So if you are having a business in India, you also had faced some of the ripple effect, some effect because of the global economic crisis. Okay, so this is about objectives of the firm. Okay, so objective of the firm, the main objective of the firm is basically to earn the profit, to earn revenue. Okay, so whenever a firm is established, the main objective is to earn revenue. Why? Because in order to run the firm, you need money, which needs to be coming on. Okay, if your objective is not to make profit, then you are not a firm which is a profit making firm. You can be an NGO, or you can be a firm or a partnership or organization which has been established to promote art, science, culture, religion, language, anything like that. Okay, so other than that, all the objectives of the main objective of the firm is to earn the revenue, maximize the revenue, in even if it is not maximization, but at least it is the earning, it is earning profit. Okay, so the profit is what is the revenue, whatever the money the company is getting, and the total cost which it is incurring to get that revenue. And if the difference is positive, then the firm is getting profit. There are some objections of the profit maximization, but profit is, what do you say, is the indispensable for firm survival. If the firm is not earning profit, the firm will not able to run for a longer period of time, because the profit which the firm is getting from its operation, that the same money is getting put into its operations. So the company will grow, the company will keep on running. So as the accounting principle says, there is a going concern concept of that entity. So the company will not be closed down. Okay, when there will be changes in the management, the owner will be taken, the owner will go from the company, some another leader will come in that company, but the company will not be closed down. So if the company is earning profit, then that will be possible. Okay, the second objective is to achieve the firm's ability to make profit. Okay, achieving other objective depends upon, if the company is trying to maximize the sales, if the company is trying to help its employer, whatever the company is doing. Okay, it wants to expand to another region. So whatever the objectives of the firm are there, it starts from the profit making objective. Okay, if the company is able to make profit, only then they will be able to achieve the other objectives. And the evidence against profit maximization is not conclusive. Okay, so the people who say that profit maximization is not very important, in some sort of way they are fine, but that explanation is not conclusive. Okay, which is not provable. Profit maximization is the objective, but there are some ethical things which need to be considered in that. Okay, profit maximization objective has greater predicting power. If the company is making profit, then the investors and the banks will be having confidence that the company will be running for many years. So a profit will be having a predictive power. The investment, if they want to invest in a certain kind of a business and they see that the business is earning profit, then they will be very much confident enough to invest into that business. Okay, then the fifth one is about profit is a more reliable measure of firm's efficiency. Okay, and finally, according to Milton Friedman, whatever one may say about firm's motivation, if one judges their motivation by their managerial acts, profit maximization appears to be more valid business objective. Okay, so this is about the main objective of the firm, which is profit maximization. Along with profit maximization, apart from profit maximization, there are three other objectives of the business firms, which is there in your syllabus, which goes about Bauman's hypothesis of sales revenue maximization, Marray's hypothesis of maximization of firm's growth rate, and third is about Williamson's hypothesis of maximization of manager's utility function. Okay, so the main important three in which you have graphs, okay, which we have dealt it in with great detail in our classes. So I'll go through all the three. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so rather than going through this PDF about Bauman's hypothesis, and the criticism of Baumol hypothesis, these two. Okay, and then Marel's hypothesis of maximization of firm's growth rate, where I will be discussing this graph, and these the balance curve. And then the third one is about Williamson's hypothesis of maximization of manager's utility function. Okay, so well, I'll be discussing about this graph. So as I have taught in the class using the PPT, okay, so I'll go through using that, okay, which will be a good explanation using the graphical methods and using the animations. Okay, so I'll do with that, and then after that we'll be completing the module. Okay, so I'll begin with that itself. Okay, so these were Bauman's hypothesis of sales revenue maximization, Marel's hypothesis of maximization of firm's growth rate, and Williamson's hypothesis of maximization of manager's utility function. Okay, these three graphs, study all the three, just know the graphs and bit of explanation. Okay, now let's explain the graphs. Okay, all the three graphs. Okay, so Bauman's hypothesis, our favorite one, the first one. Okay, on the y-axis we have TR, TC, and TP curve. TR stands for total revenue, TC stands for total cost, TP stands for total profit. On the x-axis we have output. Okay, this is also important because you're making x-axis y-axis. Usme kya hai? Many a times you get confused and you write some or you leave it blank, or you write it some another thing. Okay, so don't do that. This is our origin. Then finally, the second important thing, minimum expected profit line. Okay, of Bauman's hypothesis. ये हो गया. This is the minimum line. Our passing marks, we need to achieve that. Above this, whatever we get, that is our acceptance point. Okay, तो इतना तो profit बनाना है. And this is our TR curve. TR curve increases slowly. Okay, this is not exactly as per the hand drawn graph. Okay, कैसे तो बना है थोड़ा सा, but it is somewhat very much similar to TR curve. It increases slowly and then gradually, and then again it starts decreasing. So here we are going, this is the peak of the sales. Okay, and here our sales is going down in TR curve, and same way for our cost. Okay, cost is less initially, then it starts increasing rapidly. Why this is happening is, initially I'm alone, or maybe very few competitors are there initially. Then when I start increasing my sales and the market starts expanding, the industry feels that there is the other companies feel that industry has a huge scope to make profit, so many companies enter into that. So because of that, I face many tough competition, so I need to advertise my product. I do marketing of my product, advertising of the product. I try to give schemes to the customers. I try to reduce the price of my product. So because of all these, my cost increases and my revenue starts decreasing. So at one point of time, my revenue will go down and cost will go up. So at that point, I will stop my production. So if I want to calculate the profit, TR minus TC is what we get as a TP curve, total profit curve. And this total profit, this is the ideal case. The total profit is crossing here. It is going above my minimum expected and going below the minimum expected profit line here. So my intention is to select any point which is above this black line and on this purple line. Okay, इसके ऊपर तो नहीं हो सकता. At least maximum is this much. So any points from this purple line I want to select, and along with that I need to focus more on sales revenue maximization. So maximum sales where I have at this point. Okay, this is my lower sales. So any point which is coinciding with this and this, I need to select. So the three points which I get is A, B, and C. A is on this, where I'm having this much sales and expected profit. So it, first of all, it gets rejected because sales is less. Okay. Another point, B, I am having maximum profit, but the sales is less. Okay. C, I'm having okay profit, but my sales is pretty much less. Okay. So I'm having R1 and R2. R2 में सबसे ज़्यादा sales है, okay, but I'm not having any profit. My profit is below the expected profit line, so I cannot go with R2. ठीक है, तो हम लोग का प्रॉफिट मोटिव ही चला जाएगा, प्रॉफिट होगा ही नहीं कंपनी को ज़्यादा. ओके, आई विल बी इन लॉसेस एट दिस पॉइंट. ठीक है, माई प्रॉफिट इज लेस, माई expected profit is this much, I'm getting profit this much, so I'll reject R2 as well, and I'll try to navigate between these two, and I'll select the point C. Okay. Okay, criticism में this was our TR curve, this was our TC curve. ठीक है, that is the same, but our TP curve, which is the profit line, it goes below the minimum expected profit line, so there is no use of bow mill then if this happens, if my TP curve cannot reach the minimum expected profit line. So this is one of the criticism of bow mill. Okay, the second criticism is that my TP curve itself, okay, this was our TR curve, TP curve itself is like this, sorry, TC curve is like this, the total cost curve. Okay, so if I try to calculate profit, it will never cross the minimum expected profit line. So in these two ways, the Baumill's hypothesis fails. Criticism 1 or 2 में. Okay. In Baumil, that was about maximization of sales. Maris में, we are maximizing the growth rate. Okay, growth, we want to grow our company. Okay, along with profit, हमको company को grow करना है. So in the growth rate, we have two things, two parties, basically two entities है. On the one side of the growth rate who are focusing, we have managers. On the other side, we have the owners. Managers think कि if we are able to sell our product more in the market, sales को ज़्यादा लेके जाए, our demand of the product should be more in the market. Okay, so we can increase the sales and we can grow the company. On the other side, we have the owners. What they think, we need to increase our capital supply to the firm. We need to get more profit to the firm. We need to get more capital into by selling our products, so that if we get more capital, we'll have more money to invest somewhere else or into the company also. Okay, so दो लोगों का two different ideologies है. Okay, so first we'll do the y-axis, which is GD. That means the growth rate of demand from the manager's perspective. Okay, what is the growth of our demand that we are going to calculate? And this, and x-axis is our diversification. So diversification in the sense what different kinds of products we are bringing into the market. Okay, that will account to diversification, and along with that, what is the growth of our demand? Okay, what is the growth of the demand of our products in the market? Okay, so we have, for one product we have certain margin. Okay, so along with that margin, I am getting this kind of growth rate. Okay, so my demand is growing like this along with the diversification axis. I'm growing like this at how much margin? At M1. Okay, M1 is a very less margin. That means if I'm manufacturing my product at 4 rupees, I'm selling my product at 10 rupees, I'm getting a margin of 6 rupees. Okay, with 6 rupees margin, along with different kinds of products, I'm getting this as the growth of my demand. So itna demand hai mere product ka at a 6 rupees margin. Then if suppose I increase the margin from 6 rupees to 8 rupees, so I'm not selling at 10 rupees, I'm selling at 12 rupees. I'm manufacturing the product at 4 rupees, I'm selling the product at 12 rupees. So my margin got increased per product, it is 8 rupees. So because of the increase in the margin increase kiya na, so I have increased my price of the product. The 4 rupees manufacturing cost, and that it is difficult for me to reduce. So to increase the margin, what I have done, I have increased the price of the product. Initially I was selling my product at 10 rupees. Now I am selling my product at 12 rupees. So because of that, my demand has reduced. ठीक है, demand कम हो गया, but margin ज़्यादा है. 8 rupees है margin. Initially the margin was 6 rupees. Now the margin is at 8 rupees. Now again, if I increase the margin by 10 rupees, I'm manufacturing the product at 4 and I'm selling the product at 14 rupees. So 10 rupees ka margin hai per product. Okay, so in that case, my demand will again go down. Okay, so this will be my growth rate of demand. Okay, fine. So this is what the manager's graph looks like. So M1 इसमें भी M1 is greater than M2, M2 is greater than M3. Okay, okay, that I have not written. तो ये सबसे बड़ा है. M2 is less than M1, M3 is less than M2. Okay, so this is what the growth of demand I'll get. Okay, then again, according to the owners, the owners want the more capital supply to the firm. So owners want to increase this. Yeah, owners want to increase their, what do you say, increase the cost of the product or increase the margin. So at this point, okay, and this is the growth rate of the capital supply to the firm. It will go zero initially if the number of diversification I do. Okay, there will be no growth of capital supply. So initially it will be high at M1. Okay, M1 again at a lesser margin. What was the margin? 6 rupees. Okay, 6 rupees is the margin at M1. This is my capital supply to the firm. इतना capital मिल रहा है firm को. This much money is flowing into the firm. Okay, but if I increase the margin, to 8 rupees, so my capital supply to the firm will increase. Okay, my individual demand will decrease, but my individual money flow into the firm will increase. So my capital supply will increase if I increase the margin. If I increase much more, my capital supply will increase much more. So this is the owners thinking. So owners want my margin to be as M3 because this is the highest peak. Okay, at this much diversification, I will achieve this much capital growth. Okay, and previously at M1 the growth rate of demand was very high. So what we do, okay, we combine all these three. Okay, so at growth rate of M1, my GC of M1, this will be the point. M2 or ये वाला M2, this will be the point, and M3 का this will be the point. I'll be getting these 3 points. Okay, so the bigger point is which one? M2 and M2. That is the highest one. Okay, that you try to achieve. This is quite tricky how to get M2 at the top. Okay, theoretically it is logical that M2 will be the highest point because I am going to pull managers down and pull the owners down, and to on the negotiating table we'll decide that the M2 will be our margin. We'll keep margin 10. Will not go above, will not go below, because both the parties need to be kept happy. So MRS का ऐसा आता है, and this is our the final growth rate which we want to achieve at the margin M2, GD or GC or G equal. ठीक है, ये इतना ही था. Okay, any doubts in this? ठीक है, the y-axis is our profits, x-axis is the expenditure. You can do a comparative study. इसका y-axis में क्या है, इसके x-axis में क्या है. जैसे बाउमिल का y-axis में it is TRT CTP curve. Maris के y-axis में it is GD and GC. Then in Williamson's y-axis it is profits. Similarly for x-axis is the staff expenditure है, उधर diversification है. Baumil's में it is output. Okay, like that. Okay, so in this again we have a discretionary profit line. Okay, this is the line above which I am expecting the points to be selected. Okay, ये वाला we have a point, we have a curve which is also called feasibility curve. So something that I can get a profit along this curve. Okay, you can consider this as a profit curve also. So this is my curve on which I can have profits and I can have the staff expenditure both. Okay, and these are the utility curves. Now I can say you these are the isocone curves also. Okay, isocone भी ऐसे ही रहता है. Okay, which is convex to the origin. So ये दो isocone curves है. Definitely now you know which is the highest one. U1 is not the highest one. U2 is the highest one. The second one, the above one. ये वाला ये ज़्यादा happiness देगा employees को. So I'm concentrating on profits which I'm earning as a company, and I'm spending on staff's benefits, staff's salary. Okay, I'm spending on my staff If I spend more on the staff, my staff will be very happy. If I get profits, my owners will be very happy. So as a manager, I'm trying to make a balance between the profits and the expenditure of the staff. Okay, I want profits to be more. Along with that, I want to keep the staff to be happy, to give them more salary and more benefits. Okay, in this case, in you okay, I'll be getting these 3 points. Okay, P, M, and here this point is irrelevant because it is below the profit line. So ye first of all ye negate ho gaya. These 2 points I'm interested in. At this point I'm getting maximum profit. Okay, but I'm spending less on the stuff. Okay, my staff expenditure is less, so it is kind of manager, I'm focusing more on the profits. I'm biased towards the owners. Okay, I'm biased against my employees. ठीक है, my employees को कम खर्चा करके owners को ज़्यादा profits दे रहा हूँ. So that should not be the case, and I should select this point M. Okay, at point M, I'm having a sufficient profit which I've been told to achieve. So I'm reaching my target. Along with that, I'm giving more uh, importance to my staff. Okay, so at this curve, I'm giving more importance to my staff. My staff expenditure is high, along with the minimum profit which I'm expected to achieve. इसके ऊपर भी utility curve I can draw, but that will not be feasible for me. इसके ऊपर जो भी बनाया तो that will not be feasible for me. This will be the perfect point. Okay, ये ideal case है. This will be my perfect point at which I'll be able to achieve profits and give the staff the maximum benefits.